The sixth and final day of the Santos Tour Down Under, taking the ride on a familiar route from McLaren Vale around the circuit and up to the top of Willunga Hill, the longest day of the race, 151 kilometres. And this time, the most crucial thing is, it's the last stage of the race.
The first time in its 21-year history that the race will finish atop Willunga Hill, and as every single day we've seen an aggressive start, and as always, Uni SA amongst the action. Jason Lee, one of the first attackers, but then he didn't end up staying in this group, but his teammate Nicholas White did, and a 7-man break formed, and they started to go away from the peloton as they headed out to Aldinga Beach.
Yes, as they completed the 40-kilometre circuits here, there were 3 in all. That breakaway of 7 was not quite hitting the 4-minute mark. The peloton had bigger fish to fry and were thinking of the top of Willunga Hill. At Snapper Point, 63 kilometres covered, it was Danny Van Poppel who cruised over the line in first place. He was seeking the points required to finish second overall in the competition. So far, so good.
The peloton, they were strung out and the speed was high, but the gap was remaining stable, hovering around 3.5 minutes as the breakaway came to the second Zip Track intermediate sprint. And it was just another strong turn from Danny Van Poppel that earned him the maximum points towards that blue Zip Track Sprinters jersey.
The sprinter would not get to the top of the hill in a point-scoring position, but he did amass enough points to finish second in that competition. Once on the hill, it was a whole different bike race. The 7 riders up front quickly started splitting up, and then the sad sight of the overnight race leader, the leader of the tour for 4 days, Patrick Bevan, suffering from his injuries of the previous day, fell back.
Nicholas White, he pushed on, trying to claim the points on behalf of his teammate Jason Lee, but it wasn't to be, because on the charge, Team Sky, Kelly and Elizondo with Walt Pools, they were off the front as they crested the Willunga Hill for the first time. Bell lap, 1 to go, and they were off the front.
90 kilometres an hour on the way down. The Team Sky were executing a well-laid plan, but there were still other riders wanting to win this race as well. Soon they were back in a pack, surprisingly almost 60 riders strong.
It was a very big group as they came through Willunga Township for the final time and swung onto the climb, and this is where the peloton shattered.
And this is where young Kenny Ellison decided to give it another go. He broke clear and then awaited the arrival of the team captain, Wout Pools. Pools made contact, but then came a move by the man known as the King of Willunga, Richie Porte, unbeaten here for the past 5 years, made his move.
The King of Willunga was not ready to relinquish his crown. Under the kilometre, Michael Woods was chasing Walt Pools, tacked on in the wheel, but Richie Porte was not done with him yet.
Porte needed too many seconds to win this race overall, but a look over his shoulder and he was heading for his 6th win in as many years at the top of this climb. Then the clock would start. A 10-second win bonus was his. He still needed more. Second over the line though was Wout Pools, and in third place, happy with the result. Small bonus for Daryl Impey, and the result, he was to go back-to-back in the Santos Tour Down Under. Hence the signal to the sky.
Richie Porte wears the crown and Impey wears ochre.
Yeah, I mean it's a hard race for someone like me to win. There's one hilltop finish and that's it. But I came here with Trek Segafredo, my new team. The boys are absolutely fantastic the whole week. They put me in a good position there today. You know, hats off to Daryl Impey for the win, but to win 6 times on Willunga is a great feeling.
Daryl, you had all the pressure on your shoulders this morning. You didn't crack, you delivered. Was that one of the biggest performances ever in your career?
Definitely. I think I'm really starting to mature as a bike rider, and like you said, took the pressure, but also having the faith of the team goes a long way. So we saw the boys committed there at the end. Make sure all our guys got over the climb, and I really came pretty fresh, and Lucas did again amazing job there at the end, Cam as well. So yeah, I just kind of couldn't believe they were that close, and then I just dug deep and went for it. So very, very happy.
And well, he might be repeating and becoming the only rider to win the race back-to-back. But first of all, The King of Willunga, Richie Porte, taking the stage win for the 6th time in as many years. It will bring him up to 2nd place overall, the 4th time he's finished 2nd. He has also won this race once. But the man who's won it again for a 2nd year in succession, the South African champion, Daryl Impey. He's won the race by 13 seconds over Richie Porte.